Hey, I'm Jessie Ferner, Director of the Bucyrus Area Chamber of Commerce. With me today is Miranda Jones, Executive Director of the Galion-Crestline Chamber of Commerce, and Gary Frankhouse, Director of the Crawford Partnership. We're going to talk to you briefly about the Small Business Relief Grant that goes live at 10 a.m. on Monday morning, November 2nd. It is a first come, first served grant that can qualify your business to receive up to $10,000. It's a grant, so it's completely free money. However, you do have to be eligible. And to be eligible, you have to have between 1 and 25 employees. Gary's going to touch on that here in a bit, how you can count up those employees to prove that you're eligible under that. Other than that, you just have to be a small business that is for profit. There are a list of things that will make you an ineligible business. And some of them are if you have mostly tobacco sales, alcohol sales, if your business is owned mostly by under 18-year-old employees. You do have to be in good standing tax-wise with the state of Ohio and Department of Taxation. And you have to have fully utilized your other government support at this time. And with that, I will pass it off to Miss Miranda.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what these funds can be used for. So they're going to be used to reimburse eligible businesses for COVID-related expenses. And those are expenses that have occurred starting March 22nd, 2020, and to the date that your application was submitted. So most of you will want to submit your application on Monday, November 2nd at 10 a.m. right away when it opens. So any expenses that have occurred from that March 22nd to November 2nd. So that will include any PPE that you may have purchased for employees, customers, or clients. Also measures that you have taken to help protect your employees or your clients. So I'm thinking of some of those restaurants, some of those facilities that purchase plexiglass to put up between, so that way you can keep your customers safe from each other. Mortgage or rent payments for your business premises. So personal residences are excluded from this. So this is just for your business. Any utility payments that you may have had, and that excludes the utilities again for personal residents and cell phones that are primarily used for business purposes. You can use the funds for salaries, wages, or compensation paid out to your contractors or employees, and includes the employer's share of any health insurance cost, and any business supplies or equipment that you have purchased from March 22nd to November 2nd to help with COVID-19. There are some ineligible costs that you need to be aware of. So cost for non-COVID related expenses, any costs incurred for federal, state, or local tax obligations, non-business purposes, costs incurred for any political purposes. And then you're also going to want to check with your accountant or whoever is your business contact. If you did receive PPP money and have been reimbursed with that, you need to check and make sure some of these eligibility requirements, because if you've received reimbursement from those, like let's say you had PPP money right away, but you exhausted that by the end of May or June, those are excluded. You can't apply for those, but anything from that point forward, just confirm with your business consultant first. So that's what I have for you. Gary, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Thank you. So the application process looks to be fairly simple. So going back to what Jessie said, Monday, November 2nd, 10 a.m. That's when it opens up, and it is first come, first serve. I believe it's $125 million of $10,000 grants. So hopefully there's plenty for everyone, but I would encourage everyone to try to get their ducks in order. The website that you'll want to take note, and I'll say this twice, is businesshelp.ohio.gov. And to repeat that, it's businesshelp.ohio.gov. ohio.gov. So that's where the application resides. Now you will need either an existing Ohio ID or you'll need to create one. I believe, the business gateway is probably what that ID is referring to. I haven't verified that yet, but I own a business myself. So, some of these suggestions I'm making are guesses at what I know is out there and I utilize, monthly or quarterly. So November 2nd, 10 a.m., businesshelp.ohio.gov, and be prepared with your existing Ohio ID or have one created. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the application process, what's required. I believe there are 16 bullets in the document, and we will have this document posted on our websites, whether it's Crawford Partnership, Galion-Crestline Chamber, or the Bucyrus Area Chamber, because this really is the details of what's required as you're hearing us discuss it. But typical things on this are your business name, address, the county you're from, your FEIN number, industry type, any ownership, demographic information. Are you an LLC? Are you a C Corp, an S Corp? Number of years in business, amount of funding received by the applicant business from other federal, state, or local pandemic efforts. So you'll need to know that information. The applicant business representative name, the person filling it out, phone number, and email. This is bullet number 13, and this is one I wanted to talk a little bit about because you heard that you have to have 25 or less employees. There's two ways of figuring that out. One is a head count, and the other one is an FTE. Now, your head count is the direct number of people you employed. If you're close to that 25 limit, you might want to consider with the documents that they're requiring you to attach to prove that, and they only want one of these. You need to be thinking in terms of, those people weren't necessarily employed with you the full year. So you may have over on your payroll records over that 25, but that's from a headcount standpoint. And that's why they're giving you that option of an FTE. But if you do decide to use the headcount, you have to use a payroll record that includes the January 1st, 2020 date. And then you're going to document the number of people that were either on a Ohio Department of Taxation report, year-end document that you can use and attach. You can use a Job and Family Service unemployment tax quarterly report. And the third option is a Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation report. So if you decide to go the route of headcount, which, if you have significantly less than 25, you can easily just grab one of those reports and submit that. But if you're pressing that 25 limit, you're going to want to think about maybe a full-time equivalent. And that gives you the ability to look at the hours that maybe someone worked. So maybe someone only worked a couple months for you and they left and you hired someone else. So that's where you're going to take the hours that each worked and divide by 2,080, because 2,080 hours is a full-time number of hours. So if someone, had only worked, 1,040, and it's 2,080 that you're dividing by, that's, 0.5 FTE. So you could really have a count on a report that looks like, oh, I'm over 25, but really two of those people only counted as one. So keep that in mind. I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. But then you'll need to show payroll records with the name of your business on them that show that those FTEs are still 25 or less. So that's really what's required in the application process. Let's see here if I've got a couple other things to note. These costs have to have been incurred during the last 60 days prior to the application period. And you'll need to have proof of those expenses. And you only need one document. So like I think it was Miranda said, if you're trying to be reimbursed for payroll, you'll need a payroll record. If it's a utility bill, you'll need that utility bill. Rent or mortgage, the same, and supplies and equipment, the same. And then they also require your most recent federal tax return or your state tax return. And then you have to agree that you agree to all the terms and conditions of the grant program. So those are the 16 that are quickly mentioned. I know that's not going to be easy to to be remembered. However, we will have this document posted on our website, and you can access the document and go through those yourself. But I think the key from what I just shared was the head count versus the FTE. So that's all I had.
Real quick, I make sure that the quality of your documents is there, because it does mention towards the end of the document, if there's a defect in your application, you will be notified via email, but you will not be given the opportunity to fix the defect. You will have to start the application process over. So a key is to do it right first time. Miranda, did you have anything else to add?
Just make sure you're ready to go. Make sure you have everything. Put in those emails to your business expert, your consultant, your CPA. Make sure that you're ready. And from previous experience with sometimes when these portals open, don't be surprised if there's a lag with it. I know there was another loan that went through the U.S. Chamber, and they had so many people applying at once, it kind of crashed their site. So I'm hoping that they're ready for everybody, and just be prepared for a little bit of delays, but be ready to log on as soon as you can.